What's going on, everybody? My name is Steven. You guys are watching Fowler Airgun channel. Look, today we have the Snowpeak M60B in 357 caliber, so a 9mm air gun, and we're going to be throwing some of these really large pellets and slugs downrange. We're going to be shooting, attempting anyways, to make some groups out there at 85 yards, shooting some of these massive 9mm pellets here and slugs. We're going to be shooting these FX 81 grain traditional style pellet here. We'll be shooting these H&N Grizzlies. This is a 82 grain slug. So we are also going to be shooting these FX hybrid slugs. This is a 68 grain, so it's the lightest projectile. And we're also going to be trying to give these a try downrange. We're not going to be able to use the magazine. They will not fit in the magazine, but these are our Predator Polymags in 35 caliber. And we're going to see what kind of groups we can get out of this thing. I have it tuned now. It was a regulated PCP air gun, big bore, of course, 35 caliber. I've unregulated it because, unfortunately, no matter how much I tried to work with that regulator, I just could not get the desired energy that I wanted out of this rifle. And it's a really great platform if you want to get a kind of a high shot count for 35 caliber, and you want to be shooting these big old slugs. Maybe you just want to knock over some cans or some target shooting on steel at some medium to close ranges. A great platform when you get it from the manufacturer, but it's just underpowered. I could not get this thing to really just get up above that 700 feet per second range with the regulator, no matter what I did. Still, it stayed fairly consistent, but just could not get the desired speed. So yeah, I've done away with the regulator in this gun, which also just makes that a permanent modification here. I'm satisfied with it. Absolutely knew what I was doing before I went into the tune. I decided to get rid of the regulator, and now we're shooting some projectiles near 800 feet per second. So shooting well over, well, I would say well over, but just over 100 foot-pounds of energy there. And we're going to put that to the test with some accuracy here, downrange at 85 yards. It's overcast. It was super sunny earlier today, and I was really wanting to shoot, but the sun just does not hit right out there. I like to shoot into the woods because that's just kind of the safest direction, shooting into the mountain there. Unfortunately, though, if it's any bit overcast, it gets kind of dark out there downrange. I got you guys set up down here on the long camera for the best magnification I could possibly get you for now. And I got this big sheet of white graph paper. I mean, this big thing, big old white. It's probably 2 or 3 foot by 3 foot square out there, 85 yards. And gonna be shooting out there, printing some groups. I got 2 circles that are drawn out there on the target. Should be able to see them in the camera downrange. And again, yeah, we're just gonna try to print some groups and see what this thing will do. So let's get right to it. Alright, I'm going to get us recording up downrange. This is going to be 85 yards out here. Big white square of paper out there. And I believe we should be able to see some type of group that is being made out there. From here, I would hope so anyways. I do have the chronograph up. I do not expect we're really going to be able to grab any chronograph numbers from this, and actually I just need to slightly line this thing up a bit here. I don't think we're going to be able to grab any chronograph numbers. It's pretty dark out. And if you know anything about a chronograph, you don't have the sunshine and have all the prayers from everybody on this thing, then they don't function right. So but we're going to try. Alright, so I think that's going to get us as close as possible. I'm going to go ahead and start with what I am zeroed for this rifle right now for the platform. It's going to be these 81 grain FX traditional style pellet here, so it's just very traditional domed nose skirted pellet there. Got this 1x5 magnification first focal plane scope here from Sniper Optics, and yeah, we're going to just try to print some groups. I'm going to do the old 5-shot group deal here just to kind of save us a little bit of time and some money as well, but just to have a little bit of fun here and see where these things are going. So I don't know if this chronograph is going to work with this, but that would be cool. I'm going to go ahead and take my first shot out there. "745 feet per second." By the way, we are at a max fill 250 bar on this thing. So here we go again. 757. I am so surprised the chronograph is working with us. .766. Nice smooth cocking on this thing. Not a very heavy hammer on it. .763 feet per second. .763 feet per second. That's a dual on that. .767 feet per second. It's just going to climb from there. I was going to shoot 5 shots and I kind of just went overboard with it a little bit there. No big deal. I'm going to go ahead and switch up here. Okay, so we're going to do I'm going to refill this thing every single time. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to refill this, and then we'll get back and we'll shoot all these ammunitions off of a fresh fill here. So we shot 6 shots we shot. Okay, not a big deal. Okay, so we just finished up the FX 81 grain pellets there, and climbing in our velocities, they will get up to the 800 feet per second range. Actually, before I meant to tell you that when we dropped down, we were only like, I believe 220 bar, somewhere right in that area, from a 250 bar fill. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to load up 5. I just happen to have 5 of these exactly. I have no idea. I think it's this way. I believe it's this way. So I'm going to load up 5 here of our H&N Grizzly slug, and kind of got this neat little hollow point there in the end. Got to get the filled back up again, 250 bar fill, or pretty close anyways. Go ahead and get this camera going, get everything rolling. A million things to go, you know. All right, H&N Grizzly here. Hopefully our chronograph will work with us. I'm going to actually bump this down a little bit here. 5 clicks would be good, and we're just going to use that to separate our groups out there at 85 yards. So we'll change our point of impact. I imagine they will be different anyways because this is a slug. However, you never know. I don't want to shoot group on top of a group and then not be able to tell the difference or anything. Alright, here we go, right here. Slug, Grizzly. 716 feet per second. .731 feet per second. .736 feet per second. Ooh, that looked crazy. 741 feet per second. .749 feet per second there to finish off. And I hope they're making some kind of group down there because they kind of like they're flying all over. And I hate to just be down there poking a bunch of holes in the paper, but it'll be alright. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on now. Finish up with that. Let's go back to a pellet now. Let's try to single load this thing. And you know, actually, so we are actually, I was wrong before. So this thing was at 250 bar, and we're actually at about 230 bar roughly, so a little bit higher. It's a little bit tight. Let's just go ahead and just keep shooting right off the right off of it right here, off of the same fill. I'm gonna go again. 3 more clicks there to separate this group here. And yeah, so we're gonna be shooting these Predator Polymags at 81.01, very specific grains here. Very specific on their weight. Okay, I noticed this too has been happening with this rifle. This thing has this aluminum side cocking arm here, and if this thing sometimes will get bent, and I think it is throwing these velocities off here. If you bend it though just a little bit without breaking anything, it'll start to lock back. It also is preventing this probe from actually probing the pellet all the way forward, which sometimes can make for some inconsistency there. So unfortunate. These Predator Polymags do not fit in the magazine, so I have to single hand load each of these. I don't have a fancy 3D printed magazine or anything, or side shot tray or anything, so I'm just gonna have to hand do these, fidget with them a little bit. But here we go. See what happens at 85 yards. Oh, this is a bad idea. I gotta stop right here and actually go down there and mark all those shots. Let's do that. All right, guys. I just ran all the way down there and marked all those for us there. So now we're gonna try to get back at it. I already have us one here ready to go. Predator Polymag. Let's see what happens. .730 feet per second. That's right, I have to single load these things. I've lost my mind here. It's the first time I've really had to single load this thing a bunch. Let's see if we can catch them all on the chronograph here. 754 feet per second. Oh, come on. I got smaller hands here. Shot number 3. See what happens. 752. It's making very good energy. And with Predator Polymag, that big old 357 Predator Polymag, you would have great penetration and expansion on some medium small game. .758 feet per second. And we'll take one more shot here. Oh, come on. Well, you could not do that if your hands, if you had fat old sausage fingers or something, you'd be in trouble. All right, let's take one more, see if the chronograph's going to work with us here too. .754 feet per second. All right, I'm going to go mark that group there, so I actually remember what we're shooting at this time. And yeah, and I'm going to see where I need to readjust this scope for here, and then we're going to shoot our final group at 85 yards. Final group, and we're going to be shooting FX hybrid slugs. Now this is the lightest projectile we're going to shoot here, and then we're back at 250 bar max fill here. So this is a 68 grain, really beautiful, very nicely made, very well made hollow point here. Let's see if we get 5 exactly out. So we got 5 of our very nice FX hybrid slugs here, and I'm just going to attempt and load these up the correct way. I have no idea. Sometimes I do this wrong here, but I hope I'm getting it right. Let's see. We're going to find out when we shoot it, aren't we? Alright, so again, we got the chronograph up. 250 bar. Oh, this lever will be the life of me here. Alright, here we go. Checking for velocities and a little bit of grouping out there at 85 yards. Well, it helped to have these off here. And also, I need to make small correction here. Alright, here we go. 85 yards. FX hybrid slugs. Let's see what this does. Oh no, we are too high. Well, we missed our first one. 778 feet per second. Let's see. There we are. 796 feet per second. 803. 804. 813 feet per second to finish that thing off there. I did miss the first one, so I'm going to, just to be fair here, take us one more out, and I'm just going to hand load this guy in here. Hopefully velocities, everything all stays the same here. Let's see if we can put one more out there. .809 feet per second. All right. So we just finished up shooting 4 different styles of projectile here out of the 9mm air gun. Let's go take a look at these groups now. All right, y'all take a look at these. Alright guys, well here's our groups right here, 85 yards, and I went ahead and tried to draw this out as clear as I possibly could for everybody. So right here, this was what I was aiming for the entire time, and to be honest with you, with the reticle from that 1:5 optic, it's actually just a hair bit smaller, so I'm just basically trying to line it up as center as I possibly can. So we are not precise shooting here with this air gun. This is just to give us a good idea with the optic what we have on here. So this is our first group we shot here. These are our FX 81 grain pellets. And I went ahead to show you here that this distance from here to here is 4 inches. So that's a 4-inch square. So look, right here, you're talking about maybe a 2-inch group. Okay? That's with FX 81 grain pellets. Now you came up here, next one we shot the slugs, H&N Grizzly. You can see I tried to map it out here so everybody can see it fairly well. They did not stabilize. They were obviously moving a bit too slow. And unfortunately that's just what you get. Predator Polymag went back to another pellet here. This one just was not very consistent. It had a lot of drop with it, so this could just be because of the velocities as well, not really getting that pellet stabilized, or it could just be not the greatest choice in pellet. And then I shot one slug. We did our FX hybrid slugs at the end there. I did shoot one and it shot really high. I actually didn't notice that it even made it on the paper here. I assumed it actually just missed the board here. So I could have kept going and we could have planted our group up there somewhere, but what actually ended up happening was I brought it down all the way to here, and these are fresh, unclean, unmarked holes here from the 357, and this is what we are looking at for a group. So even here, center to center, these are FX hybrid, and from here to there, I mean, that's just over an inch right there, guys. That's a pretty impressive group at 85 yards out of 357. Obviously we got a little bit more speed on these, so we're going to be getting a tighter group. But yeah, I'm pretty impressed with the FX hybrids. Now let's go back and shoot a little bit more. All right, so now I've gotten that out of the way. A little bit of long range shooting there at 85 yards. Show you some a little bit of potential that this platform has with it. But we're gonna sit here, we're gonna shoot. We're gonna sit here and we're gonna shoot us a couple of different things here. So we have some targets right here, all the way from just 15 out to 50 yards. And I may even try to take a check on the 85-yard plate out there a couple times. We'll see where we're going. I did just mess with a whole bunch of my zeroing while we were doing that shooting. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one shot here at 15. Actually, I'm zeroed out there at 40, so I'm gonna take one shot out there at 40 rather, and catch myself at 0. So here we go, 40 yards out there on a coyote that's hanging. So I need to go up just a tiny bit there. That's good. 3. Let's even give it no, we don't need any wind on it. Okay. So we're pretty good there now. I want to do this. I'm going to start right here at 15 yards, and I have some stickers that are placed on these targets all the way out there. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with maybe like a couple other things I can shoot at here. So I'm just going to start right here at 15, and I'm just going to check everything out. So I'm going to go right here for this little blue dot on this pig right here at 15. And I do need a little windage there on that. Alright, so first shot there was just a hair bit low. Alright, let's get the rat right next to it. Wow, about tore him off the frame there. Alright, here we go. Let's go, where are we at here? 35 yards out there at the bobcat. Oh, wow, well, that was not pleasant whatsoever. Not pleasant whatsoever. Oh no, look at this. See? Here you go. First major malfunction I get here on camera. So what happened was I got a lot of back pressure here. It was a short fire, so in other words it just barely did hang up in there and was managed to actually release and strike the valve, but it didn't get out all the way because this was not seated properly. This is for the probe. It's going to be our probe back for. So this is the charging lever here on the side, and it's had multiple issues already since I've started messing with this thing. So I've noticed that when you're cocking this, that this is aluminum here. This lever here, this charging lever, is aluminum, and it's actually very, very poorly made. And so what's happened is that as I've cocked it back over time, this thing has actually loosened and has bent. And so now we've actually experienced our first major failure, which is these ears snapping off here, connecting to this little steel lever here that goes onto locks into this sliding plate here that slides right over the barrel here. And yep, unfortunately that just snapped off because it's aluminum. I had actually just recently installed a magnetic system here to keep that together there, because I was having some issues, like I said, with it where it was bending out here. So not a big deal, because it's really just the charging lever here, the cocking lever, that needs to be fixed. So I'll just go back to the drawing board on that, and I'll get that redesigned and put back together. So I guess that'll be another thing that'll be to throw in on a video here there, which is, it's always cool to have things like that happen in video. Not that it's cool whatsoever, because I don't prefer that my air guns break by any means or anything, but what I mean to say is that it's not a huge deal for somebody like myself. It gives me another project, which, you know, I have 4 kids, so it's not like I don't always have projects, but it gives me another project, something fun to learn and work on. And I've done tons of these levers before. This is actually a common thing I've had happen before on an old Winchester rifle and a couple other different rifles, so it's common, it can happen. And it wasn't from overcharging the hammer spring or anything, because it's still the manufacturer's hammer spring that's in there, and actually it's just barely adjusted in. So it's definitely just a fault in the charging hammer itself. So unfortunately that's just going to end that there. I was going to do a little bit of shooting out here for you all, just at these closer distances, but I think that'll be fine to wrap it up there. Everybody's out riding their bikes today, so I apologize if you hear a bunch of motorcycle traffic and everybody, they're going to the lake down here. It's a fantastic day. But with that being said, I'm going to put this on hold for now and get to doing that little project there. Hey, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you do, speaking of expensive and things, you know, just do me a favor, guys. Just bare minimum if you could, just a like and a subscribe. You don't even have to subscribe, just give it a like or something, you know. comment on it. Anything you can do to kind of keep me out there and relevant so that other folks can see the stuff. I get a lot of people that ask me about the projects that I work on. I don't consider myself some kind of excellent air gunner or anybody stand out. It's just that I really like the projects. I like to do these things over here. I like to share these things with you all anytime I get the opportunity, and I hope you all like it. It seems to be because I got into this YouTube thing years ago, not really doing it to garner so much of a following as much as I was because I had a lot of people that were here locally kind of saying, hey, you should put this stuff out there because other people want to see it. So with that being said, I hope you guys liked it. I hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, guys, just do me a favor. Thumbs up, subscribe. And I'll catch y'all on the next one.